Dog the Bounty Hunter recently did an interview where he just launched into a homophobic tirade. I don't know if it was specifically targeted at Dylan Mulvaney, if he was just talking in general, but it was pretty crazy. Do you think we can show it on here? Or is
the one from the
us...
TMZ clip?
Yeah.
We can try.
Is it going to get us in trouble? It was pretty crazy because he is actually inciting violence.
Yeah, maybe we should leave it off then. Do you want to give an edited version of what he says?
He basically said, like, if I saw Dylan Mulvaney in person, I would drop him.
You can't do that. You can't say that.
He said, we don't need any more sissy men. He said Jesus was not a sissy, and the pride comes before the fall. And he also said the classic line, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Wow, I have not seen...
Go off, dog.
Look, you might as well have that on some, like, it feels like something you'd see on some really, really bad person's doormat in an area.
He
like,
said anyone who was coming for your children would have to get past Jesus' blood and shotgun shells first.
It's so
He did not hold back.
Okay. He did not hold back at all.
And say what you will about those opinions, but he has the right to speak his mind.
This
like
is
any of us do.
Excuse me.
This is America.
I thought this was America.
Opinions. Those are just like emotions and bumper stickers.
In the chat, Deer Screen.
Speaking in bumper sticker.
He was speaking in bumper sticker.
In the chat right now, it's Deer Screen says Chad the Bounty Hunter. That's not, look.
He went off.
Here's what's funny. Like, Hollywood is now so, like, think about how Hollywood is so divided. Dog the Bounty Hunter used to do guest appearances on Hawaii Five-0. Like, if that show is still on the air, he ain't coming back after saying this.
And
they're not letting him back.
It seems like one of his daughters is actually gay and in a gay relationship. So his other daughter posted on Instagram denouncing all of his comments. She said, the comments made by Dwayne Chapman reflect prehistoric beliefs and do not align with true Christian values.
Prehistoric.
Jesus loves everyone and would strongly denounce this non-accepting rhetoric. It is utterly repulsive to advocate violence against our transgender community, and it is equally repulsive to invoke Jesus' name in vain to support such views. Making comments about my sister's marriage and sexuality is abhorrent. I have personally apologized to my sister Lisa for our father's words, and I extend that apology publicly as well. Despite our differences, I am deeply sorry that our father publicly disrespected you and your relationship. I don't know if he specifically mentioned his daughter, but that's pretty weird.
I don't like back the stuff that Dog was saying, but I don't back what the response from his kid was either. So the whole thing is just awful.
They're all bad. And then
addressing it as Dwayne Chapman instead of my dad.
My dad
telling.
Or my dad, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
So Dylan Mulvaney has decided to flee the United States in search of safety from this type of bigotry. Dylan Mulvaney has left America for Peru. As Dexerto said, she no longer feels safe. Let's watch this video real quick.
Let's do that.
I don't like watching Dylan Mulvaney TikToks, but it must be fun.
Okay, surprise! I'm in Peru, and I'm at Machu Picchu. Isn't this just so beautiful? I'm here by myself, and I used to do a ton of solo traveling. I'm telling you, it's the best.
I wonder why. I wonder why you feel safe solo traveling.
To get to know yourself better.
That's not the experience of most women.
You know what I mean? And I definitely have. I've done shaman ceremonies that were like 10 years worth of therapy. It was wild. I've seen a lot of llamas, and the people here are so kind. I feel very safe here. It's a little sad that I had to leave my country to feel safe, but that will get better eventually. And I am dying for some Trader Joe's rolled chili lime chips. But other than that, I am so content. Still haven't been kissed yet, but I'm holding out hope. And most of all, you know, this trip has me feeling like I'm my own best friend again. And that is the best feeling in the world. And I hope that you feel that way about yourself too. And I love ya. Okay. Bye.
I doubt that. Do you think Dylan didn't feel safe in America around the people that Dylan knew? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. Does he think that people...
Well, he talked about, like, I'm getting followed and stalked in the streets.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good either.
Seems like exactly the type of attention that Dylan Mulvaney wanted all along.
I mean, I don't think anybody should be following or threatening Dylan Mulvaney at all.
No, I don't think that either, but that's the type of attention that a narcissist wants. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative.
There was just something really sad about watching that.
It's really sad because Dylan Mulvaney is clearly a very, very lonely and isolated person. I mean, even that comment, like, I haven't kissed yet, haha, holding out hope. It's like, you've made yourself repulsive to most people on purpose.
I've said this before in other on other venues or whatever, but the biggest thing preventing Dylan from getting a relationship is Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter about Dylan's transness or if Dylan's a gay man that's acting like whatever. I don't care. The act, the fact that people watch Dylan and are like, that looks exhausting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to keep up? Like, trying to keep up with Dylan Mulvaney and also avoiding, like, a serious Adderall or cocaine problem? Not happening. Not happening at all.
There's a big one there from Stephen Harris.
Oh, thank you. He said, all Hollywood does is pander to Gen X with 80s reboots of anything we grew up with and no new original thought. Yep. Oh, by the way, Phil is effing awesome.
Thank you, Stephen.
And yes, and by the way, what's going to happen is eventually that's going to give way to pandering to millennials with the millennial reboots, and that's incoming.
Was there anything that came out for the millennials that could be rebooted?
There's a lot. I mean, the Harry Potter's already being rebooted.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. I think a lot of, like, the shows that I always talk about. All of those shows that were on the USA Network will probably end up getting rebooted down the
whole
line.
CW gets rebooted.
Yeah, we'll end up getting rebooted. Well,
literally everything.
Reboot the channel.
They rebooted Gilmore Girls, right, or something like all these shows that
Gossip Girl
or Gossip Girls, like all these shows that girls loved. Melrose Place got a reboot. That was Gen X. 90210 got a continuation. They did Saved by the Bell again. Like, it'll just continue to happen. So, but
you're right about Dylan Mulvaney, Phil, because this is obviously not an authentic person.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest reason why you can't have a relationship is you can't even be honest with yourself, let alone anyone else. I mean, look, gay men wouldn't be interested in Dylan Mulvaney because this is someone trying to look womanly.
Like a woman. And
lesbians would not be attracted to Dylan Mulvaney
lesbians are probably
for
the most
hopefully
repulsed.
obvious reasons. Straight men probably not attracted to Dylan Mulvaney for again hopefully very obvious reasons.
But, like, even besides the anatomy stuff going on, Dylan is the kind of person that you would need to be able to
Dylan
deal
is
with
all
that
about
energy.
Dylan.
Yeah, I mean,
and no one else.
There's no way you can be in a relationship with Dylan and expect to have any room for yourself.
Yeah.
Your entire relationship is going to be about Dylan. So, I mean, at least that's the way that he comes off or she comes off. So if that's not the case, then the behavior needs to change to attract someone.
It's ironic that Dylan Mulvaney fled to Peru in order to feel safe as a minority in gender and sexual identity, because Peru actually is a bit challenged in its laws for LGBT people.
Hold on,
same-sex.
Dollclick says, "How do you guys even know that she doesn't have people who like her? Oh my God, are you kidding me?" She said,
She literally says,
"I've still never been kissed." So we're just going by what Dylan said.
I mean, there are plenty of people who can comment on Dylan Mulvaney's TikToks.
How do we know?
Like,
Because
go queen, but that doesn't mean you have actual friends or relationships.
Yeah, because that's what Dylan said. Like,
yeah.
What
Anyway,
are you talking about?
I'm reading from the Wikipedia page now. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people in Peru face legal challenges not experienced by non-LGBT residents. While same-sex sexual activity among consenting adults is legal, same-sex marriage and same-sex civil unions are still illegal, and you do not have the option in Peru to legally identify as any gender other than your biological sex.
So that's where we get back to the point where I talk about it's these people that pretend like America's not as awesome as it is, that doesn't have all the things that you're allowed to do here. It's annoying.
Thank you.
There's a $20 one there from Dave Gazzuli.
He said,
wait for the crisis party. 1 second.
Dylan will find himself eventually. It will just take some time, and plant medicine is a poor substitute for self-discovery. Also, my posts may not always land, but it's hard when your head is always in the clouds. True. It's just, you're right about that, Brett. Like, the U.S. is the only place where Dylan Mulvaney is free to be Dylan Mulvaney and do Dylan Mulvaney things. But it comes at the cost, that freedom, that license that you have here comes at the cost that anyone is able to say anything about what you do and have opinions about what you do and voice them freely.
It's really funny, too, because I watch so much old television and I look back at just how different the world was and how much less fragile, or at least seemingly fragile, people were. If anything, people used to take an affront to your personality or the fact that you were different. Now it's almost like a false sense of pride where it's like, I'm different and I'm okay with that. But what they really mean is I'm different and I want you to be okay with that. Back then, you had to actually have the fortitude to accept that you were different, you weren't like everyone else. And the funny thing is, like, even for someone like me who is a straight white male, growing up rollerblading in a country where skateboarding was extremely popular, and there was a lot of people that didn't like what we did. I saw that from people in that industry. Never bothered me. It was just part of who I was, nor did I care what people thought of what I did. And we could do, as human beings, with getting back to that knowledge, Dylan Mulvaney could do with saying, like, look, you may not like me, but first of all, you got your millions from your ad campaigns from Bud Light and all these places. Take the money,
and run.
And not just take the money, accept that you're different, accept that being different is something that can be meaningful if you don't look at it as something that is something to be fixed from other people. You can't expect them to agree with everything you do in your life. That is not real. We've misunderstood what tolerance is. Yep. Now tolerance is supposed to also mean blind acceptance. It doesn't mean that. Just because I don't have a problem with what Dylan Mulvaney...
It's more like tolerance means not just tolerating, but endorsing and celebrating.
Exactly. And just because I don't have a problem with what Dylan Mulvaney does, although I do find him too good at he is media trained and almost too good at the image he puts on for me to ever buy that it's real. I don't expect everyone on the planet to blindly endorse him, just like I don't expect everyone on the planet to blindly endorse me, my views, my beliefs, or who I am. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Tolerance, the very word, implies that you are tolerating or abiding with a present evil or a present thing that bothers you, possibly. That, now you're right, that has turned into a word that means celebration.
Yeah, that's a great point, because like tolerance implies disapproval.
Yes, exactly.
Like the word tolerance, like the meaning of the word tolerance implies that you tolerate it even though you disapprove of it.
The permission that you have in this country to dress how you want, to express yourself how you want, to make TikToks and wear makeup and get brand deals, all of those permissions, they do come at the cost that you are open on the table for criticism, and people have equally the right to disapprove of what you do. Obviously, physical violence is not included in that, but like, if you don't feel safe because there are people at Breitbart misgendering you in articles, I'm sorry, you don't realize how privileged you are.
Yep. We have it very, very good here. Everyone that lives in this country has it very, very good here. It is the only place in the world where you find fat homeless people.
I mean, it's true, man.
It's annoying because it's my ideals being like, I'm very critical of the U.S. government, but also very, very, very much in support of what American ideals should mean and the population should be, and what the population is, kind of run at odds, right? Like, you do live in the greatest country on earth. Sure, we're the great Satan to other countries, but if you were privileged enough to be born to live here, a little bit of gratitude would go a long way. And I talk about that a lot beyond just this story, that actually having gratitude is one thing when everything's going right. being able to be grateful and understand gratitude when not everything is going right at all, that is actually when it's important.
100%.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.